This is Mason. And this is Ty. Mason and Ty are very good friends. They are nerdy and like science, especially time travel. One day, a new student was introduced into class. Her name was Ava. All the tables had an open spot, but she chose to sit at the table with Mason and Ty. She seemed to have similar interests with them. They became good friends, but Mason started to realize that she liked him more than Ty. It started out with just some cookies, but it then turned into something a lot bigger. Mason agreed with Ty not to get too crazy with this relationship, but it would be really hard not to do that because Ava forced Mason to go to Harvest Festival. After a series of climactic events, they then kissed, which was really, really bad. This is because it made Mason and Ty mortal enemies, which, 5 years later, was the cause of a huge discombobulation. They were trying to get their science fair projects past each other, but Mason accidentally hit a teacher. This led to a detention and a suspension, and shortly after that, expulsion. This didn't end very well, as Mason got in a car accident. But that was not the end of Mason. Mason soon woke up at a sleepover at school. He saw his teacher, Miss Alexander, but he thought she was Mrs. Nicomas, since that was her name when Mason was 17, but what Mason didn't know is that he traveled 5 years back in time. He said, "Miss Nicomas? Who's Miss Nicomas?" The teacher said. He looked at himself in the mirror. He was 5 years younger. How could that be? Never mind that. Mason had a chance to fix a mistake he made a long time ago. When the day came, Mason acted more rude to Ava to prevent her from being his girlfriend. But that didn't work out extremely well either, because Ty was so aggravated that Mason was being so rude to a woman who was just like them. But then the day came the Harvest Festival. The second time. Ava was still into Mason a lot, so she still wanted him to go to it with her to the thingy-mabobber. But this time was different. Mason had enrolled in football, even though he was terrible at sports. He had made a team plan to go bowling. Sure, it was stupid and boring, but at least he doesn't have to see Ava, right? Well, that plan didn't work. So, all Mason had to do was not kiss Ava. And he didn't. But someone still took a picture, and Ty will still see it and be just as mad. He swiveled around. Dominic, the biggest bully in the whole wide school. He lunged at him, making the phone shoot out of his hand. He then procced to get knocked out. But, instead of waking up a 12th grader, he was 17 again. In the future, Ty was still his friend, he still went to high school, and Ava was his girlfriend. I guess they were meant to be all along.